So, over the last 2 years, I have been traveling to a different college football game every week in the fall. And something that I've really enjoyed about my travels is actually getting to experience the different tailgating culture at each school. And there is just one school that stands out among the rest that's just better. And I'm gonna assume you can probably guess what school that is. It is Ole Miss and the Grove. They just do tailgating completely differently than everyone else. And I remember before going into this like road trip series that people were like, the Grove is the best. It's really one of one. And I was like, how different can tailgating be from school to school? And I was so wrong about that, and even more wrong about the Grove. It is the most unique tailgating experience in all of sports. But before we get to that, I'm Lucy. I make cool college football content. So if you like this video, if you love college football tourism, college football in general, just the whole vibe of this sport, make sure you subscribe. So first, let's do a quick rundown on what the Grove actually is. The Grove is basically like just sort of a typical quad you're used to seeing on any campus of a grassy area with a bunch of trees, sidewalks going through it. But on a game day Saturday, Ole Miss shuts that down and it becomes this enclosed tailgating area. And the Grove is in the heart of Ole Miss's campus. It's surrounded by all these very beautiful Southern architecture buildings. It's got these gorgeous trees. Like it is scenic. And so all of the tailgating takes place here. It's not happening in a parking lot by the stadium. It is all in this one congested area, and it is not your average tailgating. I was going to say it's not your grandmother's tailgating, but depending on how your grandmother lived her life, it very much could be your grandmother's tailgating. These tailgates are way less tailgating and more formal, extravagant events. And because they're full events, because people are dressed up and there's sort of this kind of pageantry with it, most people are hiring services to set up their tailgate for them. And so people are literally going to these private companies and they are paying thousands of dollars to have this company come and set their tailgate up for them. And the company will be like, here are your options for what you want in your tailgate. Do you want a TV? Do you want a grill? What is it that you specifically want for your tailgate? And then there's an appropriate, well, appropriate's a crazy word here, but a price point that goes with whatever you've selected for your tailgating spot. And these packages range from something really simple, like, okay, we just really want the tent and a couple chairs, to I want a full chandelier and I want, it decorated a specific way and I want to try to get this specific spot. And those really expensive ones can be over $10,000 for one singular game. Some of my personal kind of crazy things that I saw in the Grove were a private chef, a ton of chandeliers. The craziest thing that I saw, the one I loved the most, was one tailgate had a commissioned artist there who was painting Ole Miss portraits throughout the tailgate and throughout the game. It was magical. And so there is just so much extravagance that goes from the setup of the tailgate to the food they're eating to having bartenders on site at a lot of these tailgates to the fashion that people are wearing. It is like very much like a full formal event. I accidentally wore jeans and a t-shirt and was incredibly underdressed. And because it is so extravagant, because there is so much going on, you would think there's probably a pretty good organized set plan for how this all comes together. There isn't. So when I got to go to the Grove last year, I actually met a lady who works for one of these tailgate companies and she gave me the tea on how this all comes together. So there are no actually reserved spots in the Grove. Like you can't say, I want to be right by the Walk of Champions. I want to be right here. It's kind of a free for all. So the Friday night before a game day at 7 p.m., they'll lift the ropes up at the Grove and it becomes like a mad dash Black Friday 2010 free for all. From my research online and talking to this woman, I've heard that it was more intense in previous years because now that so many people are outsourcing their tailgating, which is a crazy sentence, by the way, that these tailgating services are going the Friday night and doing that kind of crazy dash for you, and they are the ones setting it up, so you don't need to worry about being there the night before. It's truly a remarkable setup and system. But what I think makes the Grove so special, what I loved the most about it, was just how congested of a tailgating area it was. You were so close to the other tailgates, which I can see how a lot of people wouldn't like. Where something I found kind of crazy was that at my college, the fraternities, the students, the sororities were all very separated from, you know, alumni coming back. Not Ole Miss. You'll have a family tailgate right next to, one of the fraternities, which I thought was kind of crazy. I don't know if I'd love that, but I do love the close proximity of it, where you're in a spot where it's really easy to hop from tailgate to tailgate. And so I feel like it's just like kind of a little bit more community. There's more mingling happening. It's the tailgates aren't so blocked off. It's a little more open to everyone, which I think is really cool. It's such a cool tailgating atmosphere and it's so unique, but it does come at a cost. Obviously, the cost of buying a chandelier for your tailgate's probably not cheap. It's probably expensive, but it does actually come at a cost of sort of the game day experience where the tailgating is so great at the Grove that a lot of people choose to go in just for the tailgating and they'll stay at the Grove with their TV and they'll watch the game from there instead of going into the stadium. And in all my life as a diehard college football fan, never once have I been like, I just want to stay at the tailgate. Like, I need to see the game. I'm here for the football. Ole Miss was the first place that changed that for me, where I was having so much fun at the Grove. The setups were so nice. And I was like, we don't have to go in. We could just stay. Yeah, I can go into the game and it can, I can have fun and hear the marching band, probably get a sunburn, or I could stay at this tailgate where a private chef is cooking for me. A bartender is making my drinks. I'm on a legitimate couch, nice furniture. There's a beautiful chandelier hanging. I can watch other games during commercial break. I'm not in the sun. It's cool. It was enticing. I had to work, so I did go into the game, but I would have not gone if I was just there for fun. I had a ton of fun at Ole Miss, but there is a clear difference between an in-game atmosphere at Ole Miss than Alabama or LSU, where you could tell that people had chosen to stay outside of the stadium. Like it was a sellout game when I was there, but like the atmosphere wasn't as intense as you would imagine. I also wasn't there for a particularly great game, and so I heard that, when they played Georgia previously, it was like way more intense and the in-game atmosphere was a lot better. So I don't want to put too much on that statement. So I do think that statement does depend game to game. Even if you do go into the game, what I like about the Grove as well is that there is a lot of post-game tailgating happening across college football, but I think it happens at a higher rate in the Grove. There are obviously people who leave after, but there's like a specific time that they'll shut the Grove down depending on what time a game happens. So it was still incredibly lively after the game, not as lively, like you could tell that it wasn't as many people there and there was a lot of trash everywhere, but it was still a lot of drinking and celebrating and eating and the vibes remained high after the game. It's really my favorite tailgating in all of college football, and I love that it's like completely unique to Ole Miss. When I was talking to the woman who worked for the tailgating service, she said that occasionally they'll do something at Mississippi State, but it seems like this is just an Ole Miss specific thing. If you know of another school that does this, let me know in the comments because I'm definitely curious. But it is just kind of one of one. It is such a unique tailgating experience that I will say they've pretty much perfected. So if you're a college football tourist like myself, book that trip. I recommend flying into Memphis. It's like a 45-minute drive to Oxford. I would probably stay in Memphis because Oxford's really, really small. It's hard to get a hotel, but I promise you'll have a ton of fun at the Grove. So, as they say, hotty toddy, whatever that means. If you like this video and you want more college football content, please give me a like, comment, subscribe, share, the whole trio, even plus one. And let me know in the comments if you're curious about any of my other college football tailgating experience across the country. It's hell yeah, damn right. Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell are we? Hey, riff, bim bam, flim flam, Ole Miss by damn. I think I got it. I think I got it. I practiced when I was there, but I haven't done it since. So